House Ways and Means Chair Aaron Michaelewicz is our guest this morning. Let's go on the record. Budget debate begins tomorrow, and this Democrat from the North End has a big hand in that. $56 billion on the table. Can the man at the Speaker's side balance the books? It's time to crunch the numbers. Let's go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Welcome to OTR, everyone. I'm Ed Harding, along with Newsletter 5's political reporter Sharman Sacchetti. It's great to have you with us. As you can see at the table this morning, his state rep Aaron Michaelewicz. Since 2009, he's represented the 3rd Suffolk District. He's now the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, a lifelong resident of the North End. You walk to work?
I walk to work every day.
Even in snow?
Even in snow.
Even in cold?
Even in cold.
He's a graduate of Northeastern University. As you can see, he's a hardy New Englander. Great to have you with us. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's
happy
start.
Spring.
Yes, happy spring. We're all happy to see that. So the budget, with new funds from the millionaire's tax, devotes many millions to the MBTA. As a lifelong Bostonian, are you confident that the money spent on the T will actually bring meaningful change?
I mean, I'm hopeful, and I think that
Hopeful's not really confident.
Really, confidence is hard to say right now. I mean, we are in a transition at the MBTA with a new leadership, with a new general manager. I think that's an exciting moment, and I think that's something that to be really hopeful for and confident in our new governor's decision making on who that person is. With this money, I think we are taking a step forward in terms of trying to create some more, capital, taking care of capital needs, issues that the MBTA may have related to structural needs, using the fair share money, not only for that, but also for the safety workforce. There's a whole host of things that we're using it for within the fair share amendment, and then hopefully it'll produce some good results going forward.
But Sharman used the word meaningful. What would be a meaningful change? Getting something to work on time and promptly or swiftly?
First, safety is important. Safety is number one. I think that is our main goal, is to try to make the T safe. And I think by doing a lot of capital infrastructure improvements, we'll hopefully make that step necessary. And then on time. I mean, I think the slow zones are certainly frustrating. I took the T on Saturday to Assembly Square to go for dinner. Right. I hit about 3 slow zones from the North End to Somerville. Yeah. That's unacceptable, and but they have to get the structure fixed first before you can actually fix the those on-time pieces.
The House appears to be dedicating more money from the millionaire's tax than the governor in her budget proposal toward the T. Do you think you'll be able to kind of come to a number where you find some agreement, or why is the House dedicating more money than you think even the governor thinks it needs?
I mean, there was a number of things that we disagreed on between the education funding and the transportation funding with the fair share. We're going to see what our colleagues over in the Senate do as well. And then we'll try to come together, the 3 branches, and make sure that we produce, of that $1 billion, that there are significant funds for all these initiatives that we are looking at.
It's a simple question, but can it be fixed? Can the T be fixed? Or is this something that's going to, pass our generation and continue to limp along ad nauseum?
I don't know if it is a simple answer. I mean, I don't know if that is a simple question. It is certainly something that we're going to have to take small victories in. Hopefully get the small victories going first before we get the big victories, and that's going to take time. This, as I've said before, this wasn't something that was created overnight. These challenges, these problems, were not created overnight. They're not going to get fixed overnight.
All right, let's move on to the tax bill, the tax relief bill that was recently passed by the House. There was some pushback on a new tax rebate policy that's the big if, that's capital if revenues, as they did last year, actually reach a level where rebates are triggered, everyone would get the same amount back. It wouldn't be based on how much you actually paid in, right? Do I have that correct? So explain the thinking on that.
So the thinking is, first off, the tax package as a whole is a broad, there's a broad scope of different initiatives in there that, touch a number of folks in the Commonwealth in different ways. On that tax rebate conversation, it's the first time, last year was the first time it had been instituted in 35 years. We actually saw, during the pandemic for it to actually work and actually be implemented, the economy has to be very successful. Right. And the way that our economy is successful is by our high-income workers being successful and our low-income workers being successful. We saw during the pandemic when our low-income workers, a lot of our frontline workers were out there working day in and day out, could not stay home and do remote work, had to go out there on the front lines. They were the ones that would help carry this economy and kept our economy strong during those difficult times. This, when we have this tax rebate opportunity, when it may come again, if it ever comes again, we want to make sure that everyone prospers in it equally. It make sure that everyone has an opportunity to benefit from those tax
Rather than
relief
a
funds.
disproportional spend for those that made more versus those that did not.
I mean, I think it really has a bigger impact for those that are on maybe on the lower income spectrum, and those are the ones that we really relied on during our tough times.
All right. Well, the House Speaker did say, we did talk with him about tax relief. He says it will make the state, the plan that the House came up with, much more competitive, more affordable, and hopes people hesitate about thinking about moving, which is a big issue. We've lost about 110,000 people here in Massachusetts over the course of a couple of years. Now, the Mass Taxpayers Foundation says the state will have to revisit affordability and competitiveness, but called this a positive step forward. Do you think state lawmakers will have to revisit affordability and competitiveness?
I think we constantly have to, reevaluate and relook at how to make sure our state is competitive in comparison to other states. We're in a new world economy now, a post-COVID economy, and some of the advantages or things that we took for granted or had at our disposal are different now than they were, 3-4 years ago. And so we have to adjust to that. I think that our tax package that we put out here, helps renters. It helps, child care. It helps seniors with the senior circuit breaker. It helps with the single sales tax factor. It's going to keep, some of our anchor institutions in here, like TGX and other ones that are going to make sure that they stay here in Massachusetts. And it's critical. It's a balancing act of protecting the companies that you have here, the businesses, the employers that you have here now, but also being something that we can be proactively activating, reaching out to folks and making sure they want to come to Massachusetts.
Do you see the potential for more tax cuts in the future?
I think we got to get through this first round of discussions before we have any future ones. I mean, this obviously we had some hiccups last year when we tried to do this, so we're going to try to get this done. I know that our colleagues in the Senate are committed to working on this as well, and obviously a lot of the initiatives that we had, the governor was in favor of before. So we're hopeful that we can make this work before the end of the session.
To that very point, were you talking about the governor before? In other words, were you talking about Charlie Baker?
Oh, both, governor before and the governor now.
Well, because former Governor Baker proposed a similar tax relief plan that didn't get through. So why is it different now?
I think we tried to get it through. I think things didn't work out at the end of the session where, particularly on that tax rebate, we were thinking of that almost $3 billion as kind of a glide path in our ability to be able to afford and spend the things that we need to work on and spend on, but also provide those tax cuts. Back in July and back in August, we wanted to make sure that we were, stabilized enough in our economy to be able to do that. And fast forward now to April, I think we feel confident that we are an ability to do that. We also have seen, the numbers of folks having left the state, over the last couple of years. Right. That's a little more real than it was even, 9 months ago. Right. That's something we had to consider.
So with the top leadership positions all held by Democrats right now, who pumps the brakes? Who says stop? Who says, nope, we're not going any further?
On the tax cuts or just in
well, tax cuts, yes, but even expand it if you want.
Usually it's the Democrats that someone has to pump the brakes on the spending side, not the tax cut side. But no, certainly, we're all going to have different proposals, and so we're all going to have to come together and make it work before we get a final product. So I don't think it's about pumping the brakes. I think it's more about collaborating.
All right, let's talk back about the budget, which we have been talking about. Let's talk about free community college. Governor Healy wants it for those over 25 years of age. Senate President Karen Spilka, she wants it for everybody. Is this something, and I should mention that you have included that, the House has included that
on the Mass Reconnect program.
On the Mass Reconnect program, yeah. Is that something you're willing to negotiate, this age?
Yeah, I think we can talk about it. I think we like the idea of targeting that age group, that portion of the workforce, focusing on that, seeing if we can afford that, seeing how it actually works, maybe before going to the entire step.
That's the next question. Can the state really afford this? Because we say free community college, but really it's taxpayer funded. So, well,
I mean, there are going to be different initiatives, like I said, in the Fair Share Amendment. I mean, there are things that we tied to universal school meals, a green school works project, some targeted scholarships, and this Mass Reconnect. The governor had different ideas. I'm sure the Senate's going to have their own ideas. I'm sure this is going to be one of them that they use. I think you'd have to ask my colleagues in the Senate exactly what they're going to propose.
You mentioned meals. I mean, should lunches be permanently free in school? Breakfasts and lunch, or just lunch? What do you think?
not only did we fund it this year, but we actually are making it permanent. We will be the 5th state in the country to do so. We're also targeting through a commission deciding how we can handle the nutrition portion of it, and also some of the waste conversations, and making sure that each municipality may do this a little bit differently. We want to kind of have DESE get their hands wrapped around exactly what is the best mode of action.
That is a key component to fuel that engine that drives the education system.